What's up, guys? 8 p.m. I am leaving the Capole Costco right now. Just finished cleaning today. We had a doctor's appointment for my son, so I got out to cleaning a little bit late. And traffic was really bad getting out here, so it took a while. And doing some grocery shopping at Costco. I really like the Capole Costco. We usually go to the Hawaii one, and this one is just not as busy, and it's nice. So that is great. Feeling a little out of the momentum of cleaning. I think it's been probably a couple weeks. So just gearing up to get here was a little rough, but I did it and got it done. Listening to a couple books, and I'll talk to you a little bit soon about what I've been reading. I'll do that in a future live. So yeah, also because I've delegated a couple days of cleaning, I haven't been shooting as many lives either, but that's that. A friend of mine asked me to share about my police ride-along and kind of give a play-by-play, and I was thinking that I was going to write that all out, but that's a lot of writing, so I will just share it here as I drive home. So yeah, I have a guilty pleasure of watching cops. We don't have TV, so anytime I am anywhere where there is a TV, I will watch cops, and I think that's a lot of fun. I don't know why that's fun to me. I don't like TV and I don't really like drama, but for some reason cops, it's probably just my inner boy just enjoys watching cops or something like that. So yeah, I traveled recently to the mainland, officiated a wedding, and was supposed to connect with a board member of ours in New York City, but the scheduling on that got messed up, and so I was just like, well, I'm gonna be on the mainland anyway, I should probably try and connect with someone else. So I connected with a ministry partner of ours in North Carolina, connected and made some music with him. His name's Andrew, and I'll share some of that content that we produced too, which was a ton of fun. Really got to get some hands-on experience with Ableton Push as well. But I also reached out to a friend of mine named James, who's a police officer in Charlotte, and asked him if I could do a ride-along, and we ended up doing that. So James is a buddy of mine. Him and his wife went to the first church that I pastored at in like 2009, 2010, and that was in Western Pennsylvania. But since then, they have moved to North Carolina, and he's been a police officer now 3 or 4 years. So it was fun to catch up with him. We were trying to figure out the last time we saw one another, and I think it's been a while. So it was a ton of fun to connect with him and spend all night in his police car. It was a good time. So I'm just going to share a little bit about that experience. I've done a couple police ride-alongs in my hometown of Columbia, Maryland, with a friend of mine, Ben, with the Howard County Police Department, and yeah, that was a good time as well. What I noticed instantly about Charlotte is the night was a lot busier. Sometimes in Howard County, we would do third shift as well. I think both ride-alongs I did were third shift, and sorry, a little tricky traffic pattern here. And sometimes we'd have to like find things to do. Sometimes we would just like run radar, which was interesting in Maryland because I think every time we pulled someone over, we either found drugs or a drunk driver or something like that. So that was interesting. But yeah, Charlotte was a ton busier. It was a pretty ghetto area, and there was like 4 hotels that were just known for prostitution and drug trafficking. So we went to the briefing and got to meet some of the other police officers from that shift and their sergeant, I guess. And yeah, that was good. And then we got out on the road. So something that was interesting that one of the police officers from the second shift said was, he was just like, hey, I gotta share this story with you guys real quick. I went into a convenience store, and there was a guy that I used to chase all the time on foot 30 years ago, and I would always catch him, and he would know that he got caught, and you know, this went on for years, and I'd lock him up. He'd on a foot chase with him, and I'd always catch him. But he said he ran into this guy in a convenience store, and he was doing real well, had his life back together, was driving a semi truck and stuff like that. And he just made the interesting distinction that, you know, at the beginning of his career, it was just kind of cops and robbers. It was fun when the person ran away and got caught. They submitted and got caught, and he just said it was crazy now that you don't know if you're gonna get shot or not. So that's interesting that just in one police officer's career, the culture of policing has changed a ton. So that's pretty interesting. Yep, so we got out and we patrolled some of those hotels and just made sure that our windows were down so that we could hear anything as we were driving around. You could see occasionally people on like the third floor would see us and then kind of duck out, and we assumed that they were probably lookouts and stuff like that for a lot of the drug dealing that was going on in rooms and stuff like that. So I think the first call that we got, which happened pretty quickly as soon as we were on the road, was a domestic between two brothers. We arrived on the scene and waited for backup to approach the house. And it was interesting. I just asked a lot about tactics and stuff like this, and I assume that because they shared it with me that I can share it here as well. But they would always approach and park kind of far away and kind of out of sight. They would turn their lights off as they approached, and then they would always be in a place of cover so that if they did get ambushed, they could get into a place of cover. So that's crazy that you've even got to be preemptively thinking about that, because you just don't know what you're approaching. So what was nice was I got to hop out of the car with them on everything except for one thing, and my buddy James was just like, hey, you're welcome to get out unless I tell you not to. So there was only one time in the evening where he was just like, hey, you need to stay right here, and I stood outside the house as they entered. But yeah, so this first call was domestic. I guess it was some kind of fight between two brothers, and when we arrived, he said that they didn't need our help anymore, but he was just sitting in a garage and the lights were off, and it was third shift, so it was dark. So the police officers had their flashlights going and they were checking cars. And I asked them about that, and they were just like, you never know who's, you know, waiting in a car and who's going to pop up out of nowhere. So you always want to make sure that you're looking into cars as you're approaching, just so you know. And again, that's just stuff that civilians don't think about. But yeah, we hopped into the garage as we rounded the car that was parked there. James started talking to the guy that was in the garage, and I didn't even see him sitting in the garage. So I was pretty impressed that, you know, they're way more observant. So, and I asked him about it. He said he, you know, saw him, checked his hands, checked the corners of the garage because we ended up in the garage, and then he just kept an eye on the door to the garage as well because he didn't know who was coming through. So again, just tactics and ways that police officers are having to think that just are totally foreign to me. It was interesting just to ask what's going through your mind. So another thing that I just asked about mindset was like, you know, what are some of the hardest things you have had to do? And he shared some stories, and I just asked, you know, how do you push through hard things, you know, difficult tasks and stuff like that, because that's something I'm really wanting to grow in. It's just mental toughness. How do I do harder things? How do I have my mind operate in an area of self-control, and my mind's going to tell me tell my body what to do. So that's something I'm just trying to grow in. And James had really good advice. He just said, you know, just do it. And the longer you sit and think about it, the harder it's going to get. So you just need to do it. And I think that's good advice. Probably just don't sit and dwell on it. Sit on things that you know you need to do. I listened to a podcast recently too, and it was just talking about do the next right thing. And I think that's good. Just keeping that momentum going, not giving yourself time to sit around and think about the things that you need to do, and just doing it. So I'm not sure the order of the evening. luckily it wasn't too crazy. It was busy, but it wasn't crazy. There was no physical altercations. There was no guns drawn. I think the next call that we went to was another domestic. Man had punched a lady in the face when she confronted him about stealing her jewelry to buy drugs, which was pretty crazy. And he fled the scene. He wasn't there when we got there. But the interesting thing was through the course of the evening, they took out a warrant for his arrest and got it, and were able to go back, and he was arrested and put in handcuffs. I think that was one of the later calls that we did. So it was good to see some justice for that guy. And yeah, there was a couple calls where we just had to ban people from gas stations. I think a lot of mental illness. This was interesting, just that we got like screamed and cussed at a lot. I mean, that's not funny, but it was just kind of like, ugh. I felt like I was losing my patience, and these guys were just super patient, and I was really impressed by their professionalism. And I think one of the other police officers could tell I was just like, what are we doing here? Why are you just letting these guys scream and cuss at you and say, we're listening to them forever? And he explained it later. He's just like, we get the opportunity to just let these guys vent, and they feel like they're, doing something, and so it's better for us just to listen to them for 15 minutes or whatever, and let them scream at us, and then having to go hands-on. If we tried to hurry them off the property, then we would have escalated the situation. So we just let these guys rant, and and then once they feel like they've said their piece, then we can gently just say, all right, well, you need to carry on, and then they'll leave. So I thought that was interesting. And yeah, I mean, that's just a real public servant for these guys to literally endure all kinds of verbal abuse from mentally ill people and sit there and be patient with that as well. I mean, name calling. It was interesting. I don't know if this is interesting or not, but it was a little strange. But multiple people yelled, "Shoot me," while we were out there. And I mean, guns were never drawn, so I was just like, why are you saying shoot me? So we also went to another domestic that a young kid, probably in his 20s, and a lady in her 60s. I don't think they were family members, but this kid was being kicked out, so he was gathering all of his stuff. And this kid just kept using the B word towards this woman who remained calm. And yeah, this kid, we just had to stay there until he cleaned out his room, and he was yelling stuff like "shoot me" and calling. I mean, he must have said the B word like 50, 60 times, referring to this lady. And I don't know the context, but it was just kind of like, again, just had to sit there and be patient and get this kid out of there. So I'm trying to think of any other notable stories. I got to pet a police dog near the end of the shift. That's something you don't get to do very often. We did go lights and sirens real quick, just to bust through some traffic on the way to one of our calls. Speaking of traffic, I just hit some really bad traffic headed home here on H1 East. But yeah, I was just super impressed with the Charlotte Police Department's professionalism, and I was glad that I got to do a ride along with them. It was a lot of fun. My buddy also is on the SWAT team there as well. So yeah, it was good. I can't think of any other real stories from the evening. I think I just saw that the breakdown of family really is the breakdown of society. I used to think that it might be fun to be a police officer, but just seeing the amount of things you're dealing with, that it just kind of seems like you're a babysitter for the public that doesn't know how to get along, just all the domestics. It was sad. It was sad that people can't, resort to violence and stuff like that. So yeah, I was really impressed with the Charlotte, North Carolina Police Department, and the third shift that I got to ride with, and my buddy James. Yeah, they're doing they're doing hard work and they're extremely patient people. And so, yeah, I'm glad that they're out there keeping the peace. So, yeah, I think that's it. Thanks, guys, for watching. And yeah, if you have any more questions about my police ride along in Charlotte, let me know. I wonder how many people watched this video because of the title and thought that I got arrested or something like that. I didn't. That's good. So, all right, guys. Good night.